Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, consideration of any changes or additions to the agenda. Jeff, Diane? We have one addition. It's related to the beaver dams on Hortonville. So we'll put that at the bottom of new business. Okay, approval of October 30th and November 8th minutes.
There's one note I accidentally wrote David Martin instead of David Venter in the school board thing at the citizen comments the last meeting. So I changed that. So the draft minutes that were published had Martin instead of Venter. It's been fixed.
It's been fixed, okay.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve with the items with the changes that have been made, of the October 8th, 30th, and the November 8th minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to reports. Highway and Transfer Station report, Clinton?
The ash tree hazard, as we all know, is on Howland Farm Road, front of Lambert's. We've been there, we've looked at it. It's not in the town right away.
That's the town's ending.
We have, the town road ends in front of their garage. And then we have a right of way to continue through to where we turn around, which is up at Teeter's, because there's no place for a turnaround where the town road ends. So, I don't know what your guys are thinking about, because they want the ash tree removed.
So the town road officially ends just at that corner
The way
on this map?
on that map, the white line
Mm-hmm.
is
According to the state.
where the town road ends.
Okay, and this is according to the state.
A&R
Okay,
Atlas map.
okay.
And the tree is just beyond that.
The tree is beyond that. The tree is actually in front of their house.
Okay.
So I guess we're gonna have to have a letter written to them stating those facts, and maybe a copy of the map.
We can send them a copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know when this first came about, I mentioned getting Josh Bickford or GM Tree Tech to take it down, and they were totally against it. So that's
Okay, we can have a letter drafted with a copy of the map and highlighting the end of the town right away and specify there's an easement to go up to the cul-de-sac where you can turn around. Okay,
the way I take it. I'm not 100% on the easements or anything like that, but that's where we've been doing it for 20 years because there's no place to turn around. So,
okay.
This was a while back. Dan Caranto's water line that's in the middle of Frost Hill Road is still leaking. I don't know if we can send him a letter. I know he doesn't have nothing to fix it. Send him a letter, seeing maybe if he's willing to pay for us to dig it up, to move it, or what, but you know, it's, in the
Causing
winter
damage.
time it freezes and then it just makes a big huge hole in the roads and, cause there's two different spots now that it's leaking,
Okay.
so.
Yep, we can absolutely send a letter out because if it's causing damage to the town road, he may end up being liable for the damages.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just, it freezes and it builds up and
Mhm.
freezes and just keeps going.
Very nice.
The only other thing I have is, the town of Shrewsbury has a highway plow for the 550. They're looking to sell it. It's an all-angle, barrel plow. It's brand new. They used it twice. They ended up messing the truck up, and then they ended up getting a new, bigger truck, so that plow's won't fit on their new truck that they're getting. So they were looking to sell it for $8,000. It's brand new.
Is that 10 foot?
Excuse me?
Is that a 10 foot?
Yes, it's a 10-foot all angle. They paid 14 for it. But
Okay. What do we have in our,
We have a $3,500 line item for purchased equipment in our budget. We also, of course, have reserve funds. I'm just looking, it's so early in the year, it's hard to say what else will be available. But that 3,500 is not touched at this point, or there's no plans for it, yet. So that certainly could be available. And if we wanted to use a few $1,000s from our asset and equipment fund to have that be able to plow with our smaller truck. I know we don't currently own a plow for that truck.
we do, but it's just a regular
it's just a straight blade.
straight blade, and it really hard to plow roads with it. I mean, we've gotten by, but this would definitely be better. And
How old is it?
it's a couple of years old. They've only used it twice, and the guy that was running their 550 ended up over revving the truck and burning the motor out. So they decided that they weren't going to go with another 550 and ended up going with a bigger truck. And so the plows, I got pictures of it. It's the paint ain't even wore off of it. It's still brand new.
Plow wasn't the issue for the truck, truck's demise, was it?
No, it was driver error.
Oh.
I mean, can we get rid of the old plow too, then at that point?
We could, yeah. Yeah.
The push plates or wiring?
It's the same exact
Push plate?
push plates as what we have on ours. It's a 2-plug, so it'll plug right in and go.
And any guesstimate on what a resale of our current plow might be?
They're, I don't know.
Is it, it's just a,
It's just a
8 foot
straight,
six.
it's a 9-foot.
It's a straight, it's one of the straight Fisher heavy duties.
that's a little bigger than,
Yeah.
it's almost in that
It's-
spot where nobody's gonna want it, cause it's,
It's a little heavier, unless you're running a
couple
550.
grand.
Yeah, that's probably worth 2,500. Or you keep it as a backup.
So we could, I would bet, I'm just asking, Cause
No,
we would need
no,
a
the
vote
guy
if we
that
want to pull any
sell
money
the
from the
strip.
reserve fund.
Yeah.
So I
That's
would
not-
suggest we just, if you wanna approve that, that we would use 4,500 from our asset and equipment fund. And then, we don't, regardless of what happens with the other plow, we're covered.
Would we be buying it if it wasn't available from the town of Shrewsbury? I think that's the only question I have.
My only thing is, if,
We tend to end up with stuff
Mhm.
surplus from other towns.
the thing with the 550, if somebody comes in to help out plowing, they're gonna be able to plow a lot easier with that plow, and it's gonna be much easier.
Yeah, you don't get the snow fly over.
You'll actually be able to, it's a little wider. And,
Yeah,
That's why they're girls.
so it's either be prepared or don't be prepared.
Correct.
I'd rather be prepared.
And I'm sure we could list the other one for,
Yeah, just
Like
put
$3,000
that in the equipment fund when we get
let's
it.
put it back into the funds.
Yeah. So then we're just talking about 5-ish,
Yeah.
5,500.
I need to make a motion.
There needs to be a motion.
Make a motion that we, purchase the plow from Shrewsbury using reserve funds and,
4,500 from the asset equipment fund,
yes,
and the remainder we have in our budget.
I'll second the motion.
The ayes?
Now that we bought that, it's, now that we bought that, it's not gonna snow, so we're good.
That's a good thing. Yes. You know, I'm okay with that too.
and then just the transfer station, we did move the containers around. I believe, Ken, you can help me out here, but I believe it's working out pretty good. I haven't been up there to see how it's working on a weekend, but
It looks nice. I was up
Yeah.
there and, you know, kudos to you guys for the layout of it. I think, as Ken had spoken to me, we gotta determine traffic flow, so people ain't coming opposite each other, so.
right.
I made a map. So overall, the feedback's been very positive. People are like, whoa, what's going on here? So Liz and I actually discussed the traffic flow and the signage. So I suggest a total of 3 signs, just specifically for traffic flow. 2 of them, I figured we could make like in a 6-gallon bucket with concrete so that you can plow easier. And that would go on that map, the 2 there next to each other. And it would just simply, read no parking between signs, so we can try to keep that open so people can pull into the metal container. And then we'll be put up 2 posts over near the electronics, and on one of those, just a do not enter, so that we don't get cars in there.
I think that's a great thing.
I think I have a do not enter,
Great.
but
So we need just a couple arrow signs.
It came up in discussion because of course I pulled in the way we're suggesting not to.
So
Just to
you're
clarify.
you're the culprit.
We went, oh.
Didn't realize
We have a
that.
sign
So-
there.
No, I think that's, as we had talked,
Mm.
that's a perfect layout.
The only other thing was now that the containers are right next to each other, there was a lot of overflow this weekend, people throwing plastic chairs in the metal and like the metal in the demo, so Kevin and I are fishing the stuff out, so maybe just a very basic sign that says metal only. I mean, I don't wanna go sign crazy here, but like, I turn my head and all of a sudden I'm like, Kevin, what are those plastic chairs doing in the metal? So, I mean, people will learn eventually, but,
Couple
Did
of
people follow the other?
It's like those, the stickers required signs, it's great, a lot of people have been like, oh, we need stickers for this, and so they're either playing dumb or they're just like,
Now they can't deny it.
surprised,
Yeah.
so that's been good, and
helpful.
that's been very helpful.
And that's a minor cost.
Yeah,
for
Those are like
signs.
maybe $20, those
Yeah. So
corrugated
maybe just one of
ones.
those that
Yeah.
says metal only, just in case, like Kevin and I don't,
Same size as the,
same size. yeah.
okay, metal only.
So that's good.
So are we saying the demo dumpster, the C&D dumpster's not gonna be on that berm anymore?
Oh, no, they're
They're
all,
both there. There's a
yeah.
berm on the other side now.
Okay, I haven't been there in a week
Yeah.
or so. Okay.
The town did a great job setting it up, laying it out, blocking it off so both containers can slide in, so it's easier for the attendants to manage the steel drop off as well. So I'll make a motion that we get the appropriate signage for the transfer station for the do not enter in the flow of traffic. Is there a second?
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
And we did get the other signs that you ordered, Keelan, and
Yeah,
he put them up too, so,
great, awesome, I saw that,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, looks good.
I'm so sorry, metal only, and the other one was,
Do not
Just a
enter.
couple arrows.
Two that says no parking between signs, and one would have a right arrow, one would have a left arrow.
okay,
And I have some pressure treated that I can use, but if you could supply some concrete, we can put
Yep.
those together
Yeah,
okay,
and mount those.
Okay.
okay.
that's all I got.
Any questions for Clinton? Thank you, Clinton. Okay, warming shed cleaning.
It's about half cleaned out. Kevin got motivated and like not this week but last week, and like we cleaned a lot of stuff out and kind of prep it for either cleaning or replacement depending on which way you guys go.
Okay.
So we've been hitting that just to get rid of stuff and kind of assess it. I know Jeff was there and Diane was there to take a look at it. I'm not sure. I guess the main thing is just making sure water doesn't penetrate the building. That's the big thing. So I'm not sure if it's cost effective to try to fix the roof and the trim or replace it. That's kind of where you guys can run the numbers. Like I said, I'm not real
It
comfortable.
looks a little, I started poking around on the exterior of it, and the bottom of the siding, kind of,
Rotten.
it's rotted.
It's, yeah, so that would have to be all replaced.
Yeah,
And then if you lift it off the ground, you don't know what the bottom's gonna be.
right.
It could be rotted there too. Because it sits right in the dirt.
I do have something else to add. When Moby and the town did the new ramp, etc., the original shed, which I think was 25 years old, was unsafe, and that was disposed of. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So now we're minus a place for overflow oil. For example, this weekend the oil filled, and I didn't have a place to put. Like I got maybe 8 jugs of oil. In the winter might be an issue. It's not really so much now. So if the town was to buy a new warming shed, this one could be repurposed for oil storage, snow shovels, and whatever else. I mean, like this weekend we pulled a dehumidifier out of the metal, and you know we pulled batteries and that kind of thing. So we really don't have a place to put that stuff now that's separate from the warming shed. So that building again could be repurposed for that. That's a suggestion there too.
Right.
Kind of a win-win on that. As far as me personally, as I said, I don't really like to breathe in there, so I would just stay warm in my car this winter. Other than that, that's fine. I mean, I would suggest the town put it in the budget for next year to replace the building if it's a budget issue.
What about the swap shed? Does that get a lot of
The swamp
usage?
The swamp shed is loved by the townspeople, and it's
Some.
very, it's very enjoyable for many. I mean, there must be 5 or 6 volunteers that go and clean it, and
Okay.
I wouldn't take that away, if that's what you're suggesting.
My only concern is when stuff is in there for so long, we end up throwing it out ourselves.
That's true.
And it's, can be an easy haven for individuals, you know, just to put stuff in and
Well, we can
not
always
worry
put
about it.
reminders in
Oh.
the newspaper.
Oh,
You
no
guys
doubt.
monitor it now, right? A
No
little
doubt,
bit.
people put stuff in there that they should probably either put electronics or that's broken. I
Right.
mean, it's kind of we're dealing with some major things with the metal and that, but the swap shed, yeah, it should be a little more strict, maybe just like no broken items, you know, kind of stuff that.
Or no electronics.
It does say that, there is a sign that
Right,
says that.
right.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. And clothes, it's like, you know, and
Yeah.
shoes, I mean, I know it's hard to throw away shoes you've loved for 5 years, but we don't want to use a swap shed.
so,
Oh,
okay.
that's a tough thing to throw
My
away
husband's
clothing,
Yeah.
because there's no recycling for clothing.
No clothing or, yeah.
But that's really true recycling. I mean, when somebody drops off an item and a minute later somebody, you know, picks up this beautiful, you know, whatever it might be, you know, bureau or kerosene heater or whatever, I mean, it makes people happy and and they don't have to buy it at Walmart, so I think it's great. Anyway.
I'm
Okay.
thinking this shed, by the looks of what we may need for repairs, like a new roof,
It should be cheaper just to buy a new shed.
just, right, and I was told today that, there's this gentleman here in town that would, donate his time to help get the other shed up to speed as far as insulation and wiring. He would help Ken work on it,
That's great.
if we could do that.
And one
What
other,
size is that shed? Is that
oh,
like
boy,
a
it's
8 by 8, 10 by 10?
probably 8 by 10, might be bigger, might be 8 by 12.
I think it's 8 by 12.
8 by 12. One other positive to help with this decision is, first of all, we appreciate the porta potty there, it's been used a few times, so thank you for that. And I know that carries a monthly fee, so perhaps in next year, or this year, whatever, we just build a lean-to off of this proposed new shed with a composting toilet, so there's no monthly fee, there's nothing, we're just buying some sawdust. So that's gonna help the town budget by, I think the porta potty's like 100, 150 a month, so, so then that will go away for next year. So that could be part of this picture to make the numbers work.
I'll,
And that wouldn't be for public use, it's just for employees.
right. I'll stop at Mike's tomorrow and just see what the cost, you know, like an 8 by 10 or an 8 by 12 shed is.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll talk about it at budget.
Yep.
We do have site improvement in our annual budget.
Mark, do you want me to give, Skip Norton a call? He gets Amish sheds from out there in New York. I'll just call and get a quick price from him.
We can get a price from him too. Yep, absolutely.
I mean, they're nice sheds.
No, they are. So we can do that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. No price out an 8 by 10 and an 8 by 12. That's the
Okay.
same prices that I'm gonna go to Mike's and see what Mike can do.
All right. Yep.
Okay. Anything else on the worming shed? All right, moving on. Bottle/can collection?
This is really just for, record keeping purposes, just to note that the Reindeer Writing Center is actually going to continue to collect and manage the bottles.
Okay.
Despite the previous potential switch.
So
So,
it was a
just
miscommunication.
Miscommunication, and they're gonna continue with it.
Okay.
I have one more thing on the transfer station, if that were.
Yes, Ken.
Jeff and I have coordinated on two things. One is, started doing car counts, there was 169 on Saturday and there was 72 on Sunday. And we've also pulled a database from Casella, just as far as when the dumpsters are pulled, just trying to get a handle on the frequency and just streamlining that so that we're being the most cost effective and not filling up dumpsters and people not being able to dump trash, obviously. So I haven't analyzed the data, maybe, but we're just, it's in the beginning stages as far as trying to figure that out.
Did you end up getting the data?
Yeah, do you want,
Do they,
Oh, did you get it right?
Caitlin has the email.
Okay.
oh,
Yeah,
does it Excel?
Thank you for getting that.
That would be my question.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
Yeah,
Keep in touch.
It's just as far as,
Not getting extra.
whether we're gonna do a set schedule, like,
Yep.
today I called in 2 of them, so a set schedule may not be possible.
It's either you pull it too often or you don't pull it enough and then you're
Right.
angry residents, so.
Usually
It's a fine line that,
Well, Christmas time, I would say there was, yeah, it needs to be pulled more often.
yeah. Yeah, we can look at the data and try to,
Okay,
Thank you.
not a problem.
No,
Moving-
thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Yes, thanks, Ken, very much. Moving on to Liz with the treasurer's report.
So, to start, just with a note, we finally received notice, well, the federal government finally changed our July 2023 flood event to it's now a reimbursement rate of 90% of federal funds, and the remainder is split between the state and the town will, in the end, be responsible for 2.2% of the total balance, and that's a result of the state and everyone in the state. We finally hit a certain threshold, so they changed that reimbursement rate. So we will be getting more funds, an additional 15% from federal funding, just for all the projects that have already been paid out at 75%, which is nice, nice.
Very
nice.
good.
Yeah, and it took a year plus, so it was, they kept telling us it was coming. But just, and then I'm gonna start with the balance sheet. So as of the end of October, it's almost the end of our tax collection period. The due date for our taxes this year was November 4th. So we're in, this is one of our strongest cash positions of the year, each year. Of course, a lot of that money is sitting in CDs. It will go to the state education fund. We do still have, just jumping down to receivables, receivables at the end of October were about $396,000. By the 4th of November, they were down to $216,000 and some change, so that was what got passed off as our delinquent balance, which is a good, similar to last year in dollar value, so good track.
What line was that, sorry?
Just property taxes receivable. So just on the front page. You go to other assets.
1,200, I see,
Yeah.
yep.
The profit and loss statement, jumping forward, we did start earning interest on those CDs that I mentioned. So our interest income for the month of October took a big jump, almost $15,000 for that, which is nice to have in addition. That's pretty much the main. Other incomes for the month are minimal. So I'm gonna jump ahead unless there's any specific questions on them. And I'd already noted our FEMA, that we'll be getting, I'm on page 3, the top. We've received about $365,000 in FEMA funds for this fiscal year. with the additional 15%, we'll see around another $100,000 coming in, because we did have some funds in the last fiscal year as well, which is repaying monies that we spent last year, but it's good we have those monies back in hand. And just continuing forward, since we did receive another thing I should mention of note, I think I jumped ahead, the rescue squad, did bring in a final account settlement, of around, a little over $15,000. The exact total, I'll just say it for the record, $15,459.94. And that was a final closure of their accounts, and they presented a balance sheet and income statement for the time frame, the final end of their fiscal year, which was June 30, and then another statement from June 30 through September 30, I believe it was. So that is officially done. We are not expecting any additional funds from that.
Any of the other properties come back, like the iPad and so forth?
There was a laptop and the reports and the check. And I
Okay.
put the laptop in the select board office.
Okay.
So no, nothing further was provided.
Okay.
And I didn't ask at the time, I just
Yep.
took what was offered.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we've been, October finalizes we're gonna switch into winter labor into next month, so that, for the highway, we're moving into our winter season officially as we close October. Again, we're on track so far to be able to, there's a lot of time left. But maybe no snow, like you said, now that we have to plow. I'll talk a little bit, the transfer station, we did get our first recycling, income from recycling metal through Casella's, so that's just with the new system in place, that was on our monthly bill. So there was $450 of income to offset our monthly fees. Our monthly fees are we've already spent 47.5% of what we budgeted. So we're way ahead of where we would like to see it this time of year. I think there is seasonal fluctuation, so some of that may even out. But hopefully those sticker signs help too. And we've begun making our education fund payments, so there's another large payment in the month of October. You'll see that education line the expense there continue to grow as we pay this, the school and the state. And those, I think, are the big items of note for the month, so it's
Are sticker sales ahead, or just looking on the front end there to see?
yeah, they have been. Solid waste. Sticker sales.
Oh, 4,800.
Thank you.
48,000.
Yeah.
Still not enough to cover.
No, they're only slightly ahead of where we are in the fiscal year.
Yeah, with those numbers there of 169 and 72, that discussion with Art from Able Waste, those are numbers that would fall within a high enough count if we wanted to look at legal waste.
Has that been week over week numbers?
So that was just one weekend accounting, right?
On the car account?
Yeah.
Yeah, just one weekend.
We probably should.
His cutoff was like 125, 150 for the week.
Yeah.
And we're pushing 240.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any questions for Liz? Liz, thank you. And moving on, we did the final settlement for the rescue, so that's complete. I don't see Bill here, so I was told if he wasn't here to jump over the fire department update, so we'll move on to planning commission update.
Hi, everybody. I don't really have much to update you on, except the municipal planning grant, so you have that as a separate item. I don't know if you want to squeeze those together.
And you know, one other thing we should talk about is appointments too. I didn't spell that out as a separate agenda item, but I believe you guys have
We have two.
two open positions that folks have expressed interest in as well, so we could put that in this section too.
I don't have anything to add about the appointments. I don't know if you want to just take the lead on that.
Yeah, sure. I think it was Andrew and Jim Seward who both expressed interest. We read their letters, or the select board received their letters at the last
Yeah.
meeting, but tabled the decision to this since
To
there
this
was,
month.
the vacancies were beginning this month.
No response. We put it in the. Was it in?
Yeah, it was advertised.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
advertised.
It was
Those are the only
advertised
two
for
we got.
about
No
2
responses.
months.
No,
That
just
was
those two letters.
Just those two, no
Yep.
additional beyond those two. Yeah.
So we just
Make a motion.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll just make a motion to appoint Andy and Jim for another term on the planning commission.
I'll second it. The ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we just keep the agenda in order, talk about the
Mhm.
planning grant when we get there.
Yep.
Be there in a moment.
So is there any questions for John on the planning commission? John, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to new business. I believe we have the winter road salt now,
Yes,
so we are set with that. And that was
that was
through,
$88 a ton from Appalachia.
yep,
This company just came in the other day. I know nothing about them. I know nothing about the salt. So, I mean, I can reach out to them and talk to them.
I put the state quote in there too, just for comparison. They're using Cargill. Who sent it from V-Trans? It's here. Sanderson. So,
Brian?
yeah, it says Cargill will be the salt supplier for District 3, and they'll honor last year's price of $86.01.
they were a little late getting this to us.
Yeah,
From our last.
You guys had already
decision. We had already
decided.
made that
Yeah.
decision last month.
Yeah.
This is the other piece of it.
I mean, yeah, if we get low and
Mm-hmm.
we can always
We can
go,
try them, we can try them.
we can go with somebody else.
I do know the road salt was purchased under last month's agenda. So moving forward to fiscal year 23 grants in aid reporting deadline.
This is just that, we need to file our report for the fiscal year 23 grants and aid. Did you got that
Yeah,
paperwork?
Bowie and I have been working on it. It's,
Perfect. It was just to
yeah,
indicate that it was underway.
it is almost
Underway.
complete, yeah.
Almost
We
complete.
completed the work in end of August, September, but.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna say the two of you have collaborated to finalize.
Perfect. Okay, moving on to 2026 Better Roads Grant Program.
Again, this is just, for you guys to discuss whether or not you wanna apply. The deadline is the end of December. There, I didn't print the entire packet because it's really long, but you guys can just see there's a few categories that they're funding.
It's the same thing we've always done.
It's very similar to
Yep.
past years, so you
Yep.
could just see whether you wanna do it.
I don't remember. Do you remember what we applied for last year? We didn't get it.
It was, we,
Or was it the year before?
it was the year before we applied for Perry Road,
Yeah.
for where the river is cutting into the, getting closer to the roads. So, I mean, that would be something that I would be thinking about
Applying again.
applying again for.
I totally agree.
Sorry, what did you say it was
We could
for?
also do it. We could try to do it. Another alternative would be at the village.
Yeah, for the culvert,
Yeah, for that
for the
open
lake, yep.
No, right in front of the store. That
Oh,
whole.
Where it goes under the deck, right?
Yeah, no, right at the store. Remember, we were talking about the catch. It's not a catch basin now. It's just an open hole into
Oh.
a pipe.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got some options.
What did you say the one 2 years ago was?
It was for Perry Road.
Oh, Perry.
And the
Bank, it was, bank stabilization.
Okay.
Yeah, the little stream was taking
It's getting
the
closer.
bank out closer and closer to the road.
Yeah.
So, I would absolutely apply.
So I'll work on that for the next meeting. Looks like it's due right after Christmas, so
Yeah.
we can talk about it in December and then finalize it.
No, very good. First aid kit, for the highway crew. We don't. have
They
any-
were purchased, right?
Yeah.
Okay, saw them on the bill today. Yeah.
Okay, so-
I ordered 4 for the trucks.
For the trucks, yep.
I probably should order a few more for one for the grader loader.
and the excavator.
Excavator, yeah,
No, I agree.
270 bucks for 4.
So, and that's cheap. Great. That's cheap.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you already got the ones for the trucks?
Yeah.
You just need to get the equipment?
yeah,
Okay.
we talked about it and
Yep.
said it'd probably be a good idea, so.
No, it's the right thing.
I was gonna bring it up last month, but I forgot.
So I'll make a motion that we purchase the additional first aid kits to place into the grader, the loader, and the excavator.
A second.
The ayes? Aye. Okay, moving on to dog license fees.
And as of January, the state is raising their fees up from $5 to $7. Does the town want to raise our fees up? Or do we wanna stick with what we're charging? We just won't make as much, since we do have a hard time getting people to pay what we do have. So what would the select board like to do?
So we're currently charging how much?
currently for neutered and spaded is $11 if they do it by April 1st. Unneutered is $15. So out of the 11, I make 2, the town makes 4. Out of the 15, I make 2 and the town makes 8. And then the rest goes to the state, which is the $5. But they're going up in fees.
An increase of $2.
Huh?
An increase of $2.
Yes.
I have no feeling either way, because it probably adds up to about $150 for the year. If you think it's gonna prevent people from registering, then it's probably just easier to keep it.
That's what I was thinking, and then if the town raises, if the state raises it again, then we'll have to think
Have to
about,
relook at it.
yeah,
Alright, so we'll leave it at it as it is at 11 and 15
okay,
for now.
alright, I just wanted to,
Yep. How are we coming along with all the licensing?
it's all up to
It's all
date.
done?
Yep, so as of January
I
1st,
know.
we
Chris
start
has
all
done
over.
a great
Christine
job.
did a good job.
Yes, I agree. Okay, renew FWS permit.
So this is the depredation permit, the geese. The permitting process has thankfully been moved to an online process that is much easier than before. So it's an easy thing to renew if you want to renew it. And I think Ron is willing to consider
Continuing.
helming the operation as we have not had any other comers.
Takers?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a motion that we renew the geese permitting for Star Lake. Is there a second?
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Just one comment, we've been doing it for 12 years. This is the most successful year we've had. By July, there were no geese left, which has never happened before. There's usually geese all summer long, because we have, for some reason, I don't know why.
They came to my house.
Oh, that's good, well, next year you will then. Anyway, thank you. It
I'm
worked.
sending them back.
Well, that's a good thing.
All right, if there's no more talk, consideration, or comments on the geese permitting, we're gonna move on to the addition to the agenda for the infiltration of beavers. And flooding?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm James McGowan, thanks for taking my time. What do you think? I came really just looking for, just options, paths they can take. The, Monmouth 1668, that tan double wide there in the shed. And I've been up there about 12 years now, on February 12th. And, I've been up here a little while, and I'm not working anymore. I stopped working in December, and I'm gonna be retiring here. And now I'm worried about I'm losing the property. We haven't had rain in I think in about 8 weeks or 6, 7 weeks. And that shed of mine is going to be if we have 1, 2, 3 days rain, it's going to be underwater. But also it's impacting the footings on my deck. They've been raised 12 inches already. Now I've got straps holding them to the steel frame, and it's I've had Gary Norton put in buttress up with stone 2, 3 years ago, and it's just. Yeah, I used to come up and listen to the stream going over the rocks at night. You know, you could hear it throughout the house with the door open in the back. And there's 6 feet of water there, and it's not rained. It's, God forbid what's going to happen come spring, you know, with the runoff. So I just I could use the deck. It could be a problem. This is happening just when I stopped working. So
I know Clinton had given you Tim's information, and that's probably where I would start first, talking to the game warden Tim, to see what options the state has available for you, 'cause
For me,
unfortunately.
the whole field, I've walked the streams, yesterday, all the way up. The beavers are working on everywhere. They're diligent. And this is the first year that's been a problem, really a problem, because it always gets cleaned out. But now it's there. They moved to the south side of Hortonville, and they're doing what they do.
Mhm.
Yeah, they clogged up the second culvert now.
You know, anything coming into that field, the two streams that end up meet under my deck, and the one that goes around the perimeter of the field, that drain through both culverts,
Yeah, they keep
and
clogging up the town culverts.
Yeah, I know we send Gary up with a pole and we push through the culverts.
Yeah,
I
they,
think if you talk to Tim, he'll
Yeah.
give you the option to dispose of the beavers that are on your side.
Well, they'd be on Kyle's. At first, right now they're on
Yep.
Kyle's, but it's uncollaterally damaged.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's what I was looking for, just who to talk to. I don't
Yep.
mind doing my own legwork. And,
Yep.
but thanks for hearing me.
no, absolutely, I'd reach out to Tim. Tim's a pretty
got it
fair,
here.
fair
Tim
decent.
sent me to Tyler Brown, who's the beaver, he manages the beavers,
Yeah,
so.
so that's a start.
Yeah, no, that's a big start for me. Yeah, I don't want to start something and be on the wrong path.
And I also mentioned to him that if we see where there's gonna be a couple days of rain, I'll have Gary go over, clean it out again. I mean, at least it'll drop the water down for 6 hours until they plug it back up, but.
It's gotten a whole lot worse now
It
because
is.
it is spreading
is.
out throughout the whole field.
it's gonna take his house.
Yes.
Not only that, but if we get another flood, it's gonna
It's
take
gonna
out the
take-
whole road.
Oh, so in the spring when the ice, it'd be like having ice jams over
Yeah.
on the Winooski River or something.
It's
Will
'cause
you
they can't
just
get through
say
the
your
culvert.
address again for the minutes?
1668 Hortonville.
Okay, thank you.
You got my name, McGough, McGough.
Gough, got it.
Thanks.
Okay. Moving on to ongoing and old business. Redesign, re-sign the Nimerick contract.
You guys already agreed and signed it last time, but we lost it. So we just need you to sign your name again.
Okay. Okay. We've already made the motion.
Yeah.
We have a copy of it. We'll re-sign it. Okay. Revisit the municipal planning grant.
I'll take the start of that one. So last fall, we applied for a planning grant with the basis of compiling, I'm reading this from the grant application, compile housing inventory, identify housing needs, challenges, and opportunities, identify tools available, and develop an action plan that summarizes project findings and develops a priority list for implementation. So we applied for that grant, which is $33,336, of which $29,999 was from the state and a match of a little over $3,000 from the town. So we got that grant. Thanks to John, in September, he put together an RFP for a consultant to do the scope of work, which is a table attached to this, has probably about 12 work items in it. And we got, in the month of October, 5 responses to the proposals. And between John, myself, Liz, and we worked also with Faith Tempest, reviewed the proposals and came up with this proposal right here was probably the best suited or most qualified. They all were within the budget for the grant. I apologize, I meant to email it sooner, but realized today at 5 o'clock I hadn't sent it out to you guys. So that, if you go to like 7 pages in, it kind of has the work items that were included in the grant application and that they'd be performing. So putting that on the agenda just because we recommend that we go with them and just want to get buy-in from the select board before we proceed. John, did I miss anything?
No, I think you got it.
Okay.
One of the other applications was the previous, the second, kind of what we thought was like the second best one was, regrowth, right? And they had
Yeah.
done the work on the previous village grant, but these people seem a little, they have a little bit more depth on their team. That guy was kind of a sole person, and this is a larger firm that has a lot of resources.
Okay.
So,
This isn't gonna stir up any trouble from people in the area, will it? Like we had people complain in Belmont.
I mean, I think it's gonna cause conversation, about housing, which I think is a good conversation. Action items are more just to see what we can do, not actually do anything. It's more just develop a report that if we ever did want to do anything, we have the report that can go in with that grant. So this is just, can't really get grants. Like, we're very limited a lot of times to get grants if we don't have kind of the planning behind it.
Yep.
Like with that village one that we did, if we did want to go improve the stormwater, we now have a document that says we want to do this in the village.
Right.
And we need that upgrade. So if we don't have this in place, it's hard to do anything beyond it. And we're not just looking at the next couple years, but more forward thinking than that. So I guess if we just for record have it on as a vote, like, I'll make a motion to go with SEG for the completion of the municipal planning grant I think it's the 2024 municipal planning grant.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
What was the acronym FSG?
SEG.
SEG.
I copied you on an
Okay,
email.
it's in
I
my
thought-
email.
yeah, I
Okay,
thought
great.
so.
I can copy and paste from that. Okay, great.
Okay, we've got, I believe, a couple of conservation commission appointments. Alexander and Phil. Phil Crane and, let's see the other one here.
Alexandra Yester.
Yester?
Mm-hmm.
Alexander Yester. They're the only two that put in for the two positions.
Yes.
Now, these terms are,
Should be 3 year, I think, at this point. All of them are 3
I
years.
think.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I thought we did this last time.
Well,
Or
we
two
did-
times.
I think
Expressed
we did
interest.
you.
Yeah, you expressed interest.
See this?
We did Phil, but we didn't have anybody to do the other position.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause we still have multiple slots left.
There it is.
Yeah.
Do we? Just one, as far as I know.
Right,
Yes.
yeah.
And
only
that
one.
would be Alexander, because you accepted it.
3.
I thought I accepted it.
You did.
Yeah, you did.
Yes,
You
yes.
did.
It's Jim Corbin
We
that
did you.
didn't.
That's right, Jim
Correct.
Corbin.
Jim did not, and Alexander would be the replacement for Jim, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There's a lot of
There's
them.
a lot of
Looks like-
lines.
Looks like 9.
No, it's not, though. I can tell you who they are if you'd like.
Do you want to go ahead? Tell us.
Oh, okay, there's myself, Phil Leonard, David Martin, and Peter Smith. Susan Presson, Megan Litweiler, and Jean-Marie
Yeah,
Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's it, as far as I know.
yeah, Phil Leonard is still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just looking to replace Jim Corbin.
Yeah. So we have one letter from Alexandra Yester. So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept Alexandra Lester as planning commission, conservation commission member.
I'll second the motion.
The ayes?
Aye.
You're in.
Okay.
Insurance plan selection.
Yes, health insurance plan selection.
This is the 3 choices for under MVP.
Right.
Yep.
This is the 3 choices under MVP. You wanna dock them, Liz?
Oh, you want me to talk?
Sure.
So we had a special meeting, and I went through a lot of this information with the select board, but Blue Cross and Blue Shield plan premiums went up another, somewhere between 13 and 15%. So I suggested we look at MVP as an alternative for comparable plans because their premiums are significantly lower in comparison, and put together a few spreadsheets for the board to look at, with the goal being to keep the health coverage equivalent. We didn't want to change the benefits that employees are getting, but being more cost effective about it. So the town also offers a health reimbursement account currently, which helps cover the out-of-pocket costs and deductibles. And so with this plan, looking at MVP plans, they have an HRA option as well. And we would increase the amount of the HRA to make sure that there's no additional out-of-pocket cost, or a very minimum. I think there was a $50 to $100 difference on one of the options I presented. And a health reimbursement account, just if people aren't familiar with them, covers costs. And the way this would work is the cost would get covered before any bill would go to the employee. So they would see the full, reduction before they ever received a bill. They don't have to do anything or submit anything additional to take advantage of that benefit. But there's what I shared, if we stick with the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Platinum plan, we'd be about $25,000 over budget from January through June, because that's when the new plans take effect, is January. We do have to make a change. If we want to make a change, we have to decide now for January. And with MVP, there's a gold, and I think it was gold 3, and it's a high deductible health plan. And that was my suggestion. It would create a cost savings to the town. And part of the suggestion is that we consider those cost savings as a way to increase pay rates for the highway crew as well. So I presented the board with a few different options of how to combine an increase in pay rates, change in healthcare plan, the potential of, do you want to add in an employee contribution to the plan, which we do not currently have. Again, making sure any contribution would be offset by pay plus some, but just different ways of considering our health plan pay and benefits for the highway. It's primarily the highway that utilizes the benefits. So I gave you all a few options. My suggestion was the MVP Gold plan that I had suggested, and then I think it's a matter of what combination of a potential contribution or not, and pay changes or not, if the board wants to move forward with that plan. And I can open my laptop to pull it up if you have specific questions. I didn't have it printed because it's a lot of large spreadsheets.
I believe we, in the special meeting, decided to go with MVP to
Yes.
start out with. So now it's just gonna be
Which program?
which program. Then when we go into executive session, we'll discuss the rest. So,
MVP Gold is the same as the Blue Cross Blue Shield Platinum.
It's with an increase in the health reimbursement account to make sure there's no
Mhm.
out-of-pocket increase, or there is a very minimal one on a family plan, of $100, then yes, it's MVP Gold 3.
Gold 3.
QHDHP.
And the savings to the silver one really is not in the grand scheme of.
The silver, so I had that was another, that's the standard when people talk about what is affordable is silver. So that's why I chose that one, but that would require us to either significantly increase the HRA in order to not change the out-of-pocket. You wouldn't see a difference between the gold and the silver by the time you increase the health reimbursement account. So I suggest that we just go with
The gold.
the
I
gold.
think you guys
Makes
need
the
to make
sense.
the selection in the open meeting.
Yep.
But you can discuss benefits packages.
That's the benefit
for
side I'm talking
specific
about.
employees.
Yes.
Yeah, in this.
That's what I'm talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on your spreadsheet, J40 versus N40, that's really just the savings between the two plans. By the time you do all the math out.
Yes, those are the
So it's
total. So
pretty-
there's like a $5,000 difference
Yeah.
there. But there would be a lot more going into the health reimbursement account
Yeah.
for the silver plan. And then if you go up to, it's line 12, the net out of pocket for employees is really where I wanted to balance out the HRA, because that's really, what are you paying for, what could come out of your pocket. So the platinum is the first one, gold is the next one, and they're very comparable. It's $1,000 for an individual, $2,000 for a couple or family on the gold. It was a $1,900 out of pocket for a couple or family on the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Platinum plan, because it's got a slightly different, the way they figure that out of pocket is a little different, but it's about a $17,000 savings to the town to go with the gold, MVP Gold plan, compared to Blue Cross and Blue Shield Platinum.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Should wait for Diana. Or any other questions?
No, because it keeps it very similar to out of pocket for Blue Cross, Blue Shield versus MVP Gold. So that's kind of where we wanted to be.
Yeah, you wanna provide good coverage.
Yes.
Just to be
Yes.
cost effective.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to use MVP Gold 3 QHDHP plan.
I'll second it. The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Is there any questions?
And that also opens it up so that we can have an option for vision.
They have so employees can elect to pay for vision coverage.
At a very minimal.
Sure, yeah, it's very inexpensive if you need the coverage, so that's an option
Yep.
that we can also take advantage of. I will say, for the I think maybe a motion for the HRA, because that's a separate plan, just to have it on record. So if you go down to the bottom of that, it would be $2,000 for an individual and $4,000 for a two-person or a family plan. So I'm just wondering if we can have them.
I'll make a motion to accept the HRA as Liz described it, for 2,000 for a family plan and 1,000.
2,000 for single.
For 2,000 for single, 4,000 for a family plan.
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any questions? Moving on to reappointment of the Rutland REMC voting members.
So currently it's
John.
John,
Oh, I think it's,
Jeff, and
no, it's Billy.
Billy. It's the
No,
three
we
of them.
changed it to Billy. John resigned and we appointed Billy.
I think John is still the alternate. He's on their list on
As
there.
an alternate.
They might not have updated it.
Okay. There needs to be 3 people though. Let me just pull it up. Let me just make
If
sure.
there needs to be 3 people, then I thought there was only 2.
I think there's an alternate. Let me make sure. Yeah, so it's you and Billy, and John was the backup for your voting members. There's a
Right.
management representative, there's one emergency management representative, and then there's one emergency services representative.
John, you interested in still being an alternate?
He might not be on.
Might be gone.
He was just there.
He disappeared.
That's a no.
There he is.
No, he's there.
John, you interested?
It may be that because you switched mid-year, they just included
As an alternate?
them.
Make him an alternate if he wants to. I don't think we need an alternate. my
Okay.
understanding.
Do you want to continue?
I think I'm gonna have to, yes.
Okay.
I am the emergency management.
And Billy
You do an
is
excellent
not
job.
here.
Billy will
but-
do it. I'm gonna make a motion to appoint Billy and Jeff as
Emergency
initially
management
emergency
representative
management representative
and emergency services representative.
and emergency service representative.
Yeah. So Billy would be emergency services
Yep.
and Jeff emergency management. Okay. I'll
Jeff,
make
you
that
okay
sound
with
better
that?
in
Yep,
minutes.
I'm good.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
The ayes? Aye.
Aye.
Billy and Jeff, thank you very much. Again, now we're gonna move on to citizens' concerns, citizens' comments.
Oh, wait a minute. Did we?
Oh, is
Oh, we didn't have that one on here.
No, we didn't.
that the same one I was just thinking of? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna take a back step. It should have been on here. We went through a interview for a new town member,
Oh yeah, that's my fault.
on Friday of last week. The interviews were set up, and at that point in time, we only had one resume that had come in. I know Dennis is here, and we come to the conclusion we would like to offer, Dennis the position for the town. So I'll make a motion to hire Dennis onto the road crew of town of Mount Holly. Is there a second?
I just want to add Dennis was the old bus driver for
Absolutely.
the town for
Yeah.
about 5-6 years.
And,
He's got
and
experience in truck driving.
yes, and Dennis did work for the town throughout the summer, doing side road maintenance and driving a truck, if I'm not mistaken, as needed with the road foreman. So, as I said, I'll make the motion that we accept Dennis as a new town crew member. Is there a second?
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. I would like to thank Dennis. Hopefully he's going to accept the position. So, and I guess that's really all I have to say other than thank you, Dennis, and congratulations.
We'll put an offer letter
Yes.
together and
Yep.
give you a chance to review it.
Give you a chance to review it and see what the offer is and everything.
Just make sure the record has this last name.
Oh, you mean we're not gonna have you out shoveling dirt, Dennis? Huh?
Other stuff.
We got a better plow now for the non-CDL truck,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All set. So, back to the citizens' comments, concerns. Quiet tonight. Okay, moving on to announcements. Town office closed Thanksgiving, November 27th at noon through November 28th. Christmas, December 24th at noon through December 26th, New Year's Day. Then review and sign the orders. Number 11, I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session Title 1 VSA S31 3A3 personnel.
I'll second the motion.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye.